see if he resurrects it or not. And it's a beautiful thing when God resurrects something. You give it back to him and he resurrects it. And that's whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business, or whatever the case is. Oftentimes God will challenge you in that way, and he'll do that in your relationship.
And just to add to that, what Gerard was talking about, something that was really important for my wife, because she did not fall for me trying to holler at her. And so she made me work. As a matter of fact, she wouldn't return my phone calls. And I wasn't used to that. I was used to people giving me numbers and me playing the phone game, and she wouldn't call me back. So I said, okay, there's something different. And so I understood that she had that price. I said, okay. I see, now I didn't know I was paying the price at that time, but I established a healthy respect in the beginning. And so she said, hey, you know, and I tease her now. I said, now come on, now tell the truth. You knew what you were doing, right? She was like, no, I really wasn't tripping on you. And I was like,
she's still trying to play you to this
not to this day.
Keep it going, keep the chase going.
10 years later, I'm saying. But the point is that when you have that.
John Gray is into the building.
I just got off my plane, good. How y'all doing?
Okay, so excuse us 1 second. Pastor Jay was answering the question, and you had come in and we said clap. Okay.
So that's it. Just know that price and be willing, and that's for men too. You know, don't go for the prophecy. She walks in, you know, God is telling me that you're my husband. You're like, well, I didn't hear that. You know, make sure that you hear that as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Gray. That's right there. If you just stay right there.
Okay. What did I walk in on?
Well, basically, before you got here, we didn't bring you for comedy. Stop.
I'm just saying the devil's in the speakers. Everything is the devil when you real saved. It's never feedback, it's the devil. So.
Mr. Gerard Henry and Pastor Jay Cameron, and they talked about, well, I kind of introduced them and I said why they were here and why it was important to me. But I said that you were on the way. So, John is here because John also has a heart for sexual purity. Like, I know a lot of y'all are like, oh, is she bringing John Gray for comedy? No, I'm really bringing John here because John also has a heart for sexual purity. And, John, if you can give us maybe like a 2-minute, segment, and I'm gonna jump.
How about
I'll
30
go back
seconds?
into there you go, and I'll jump back into the questions because we're.
Well, the synoptic version is my mother basically raised me without the option to have sex. So that's it. Thank you. My mom and dad divorced when I was very young, so my mother had tremendous influence and impact on my thinking. And so she just said, you can't have sex until you get married. I was like, cool. Partly, out of obedience, and then the other part is I was pretty unattractive growing up. So that kind of helped with the whole holiness thing. The buck teeth, the acne, miscellaneous bald spots from the alopecia. Saving myself to marriage. Thanks. I couldn't have given it away. Thanks. Now I'm fine. But I think for me, it became more of a personal thing probably after 16, 17, when I realized that I could actually do it. And I still chose not to. And it was cute when you're like 20s, trying to, I rep Christ. I'm 24, we saving it. I'm like 35 now. And I'm like, Lord. It's your boy. I need to lay hands. minister, prophesy. Actually though, it has become, I've sensed the attack in a different way. I think I'm moving in on my 2 minutes. But I sense an attack to, lose my testimony in a different way now, because I feel like the enemy he doesn't want to just necessarily destroy you. He'd much rather mute you, make you ineffective, so that when you do speak, even if you're saying the right things, you have no validity. And so I've been fighting, and I've been guarding my gates when I travel. Except for this, I always travel with a brother now in Christ. He has a key to my room. He has my cell phone at night, because I know my places where I'm not as strong. And so if you're really serious about doing this thing God's way, even as a grown man, you still have to surround yourself, because you're never too grown to get caught up. So.
Gerard said he'll take his cell phone number and a key to his room so that he be covered for this trip. I'm like, dang, well, I mean, we so holy, he was feeling like he didn't need coverage on this trip, you know.
That's right. Y'all anointed. We're here worth the wait. Don't worry about that.
I know that's right, brother. All right. Our next question, because for some reason, I don't know what's going on with that mic, so I'll pass to you, John, too, okay? The next one is, I understand the importance of not having sex with multiple partners. But once I have found the one, why can't we have sex, or at least touch and fondle, since we know that we will be married anyway? Anywho. I'll read the question again. I understand the importance of not having sex with multiple partners, but once I have found the one, why can't we have sex, or at least touch and fondle, since we know we will be married? Anywho.
Because you're not demonstrating love. Because love is patient. But in all honesty, if you already know that that's the person, then you have a lifetime to do this. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why can't I wait? You know, why do I want to tease myself? Because that's all that's happening. I mean, okay, we're going to kiss and we're going to rub, and Lord knows in your mind, you don't stop. They're kissing and rubbing. Y'all look at me like I'm crazy. And in your mind, so why even put yourself in that position to, now at this point, all the scriptures are coming like, take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ, and that the thought comes in, you don't even catch it. You're like, well, look, Jesus, I'll talk to you a little bit later. I need to touch and rub and see how close to unholiness I can get, versus saying, let me lay the proper foundation for this marriage. Let me not allow so much flesh to come in here where I miss things that I need to be seeing in the spirit. Right. Because just because you're engaged, that doesn't mean all bets are off. Right. It means, okay, the discernment meter needs to go up higher, because now everything can be revealed. The real character may start coming out, or parts of the character that you may not be aware of will start to reveal itself during that engagement period. And that's something I always talk about, how important the engagement period is. Because if you ignore that, and I know so many folks who get married ignore that engagement season, because all they do is plan the wedding, but they don't prepare for the marriage. They just plan, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and look, and that's when bad attitudes kick in, and people start losing their mind, and people start fighting with one another, just the husband, the bride, and the groom, but they're missing, that's the time when they need to be discussing those things. Well, how many children do we really want to have? Who's going to do the dishes? Who's going to manage the bank account? These are questions that folks don't ask. And then they get married, and they say, well, I only want to have 3 children. And then, but he wants to have 5. Well, why did you talk about that when we were planning a wedding? So,
Well, I mean, Song of Solomon says, don't awaken love till it pleases, which is basically the same thing. which I think is pretty interesting because Song of Solomon is just a sex poem in the middle of the Bible, which is great.